Attention aspiring models, you may want to get an Instagram account if you want to get noticed. Modeling agency One Management has created a social media sister division, 1K, that brands itself as merging technology and fashion. Scott Lips, president of One, joins us in the Fox 411 studio. Hello.
How are you?
Good, good. So are Instagram models becoming legitimized in the fashion industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have a lot of major brands now that are picking up on these girls. So recently, one of our girls, Rocky Barnes, was on Victoria's Secret's website, on their Instagram. And so they're starting to pick up on it. There's a lot of major brands that are tapping into it. I mean, all those brands obviously have been so involved in social media the last few years, but you see the merging of these worlds now. You see the girls that have very big followings being featured on the sites of these brands now, and they're no longer just girls of Instagram. They're legitimate models, and we're representing them, obviously, to do all kinds of modeling. It's not just Instagram posts and social media posts. It's for, you know, it's advertising. It's obviously the ultimate game for us is cosmetic campaigns and fragrances, and the whole business has changed. And so it's really interesting to see where it's heading and to be a part of it, and to be sort of on the forefront of one of the first agencies to do this.
Well, you definitely are. You're one of the pioneers. So what was the moment when you realized that these Instagram models had power and that they could be monetized?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we represent like Poppy De Levine and Bar Raffaele and a girl named Chloe Norgard. And a few years ago, I started to see that these girls were getting these massive deals that were more social component-based than print-based. And a lot of the brands that used to do print, based campaigns were saying, you know what, we're not going to do any magazine advertising. We're only going to do online stuff, and the campaign's going to be only for social media. And they started to get quite a lot of money for these things. And I started thinking, this is a very viable, business model. If a girl could sit at home and get paid, I mean, I don't want to say six figures, but paid a considerable amount of money to post a photo of a brand and not have to fly somewhere and take a plane for 8 hours and fly back. And I mean, it became pretty apparent that that would be very appealing to a lot of these models.
Extremely appealing. Although Kate Upton recently said that she didn't like social media anymore, even though that was where she started.
Right.
And even went so far to say that the Cat Daddy dance video that Terry Richardson posted of her, she found disrespectful. Do you think that's unwise of her to be speaking out against social media?
I mean, I don't know her particular story per se, but I think that, every girl should be tuned into what's happening with it and should be thankful when their career gets a boost. I mean, and her, I don't know, I don't represent her, but I think any girl that's actually helped by social media and where it's going, I mean, there's no way to ignore where it's heading. I mean, recently I was in Los Angeles and I met some kids that are huge Vine stars, and they had 8 million followers each, and we were just having dinner, and then I looked up their accounts, and I said to myself, how could you ignore what's happening in culture here? Like, if there's people here that are between the 4 of them have 25, 30 million people tapping into what they're doing, you have to understand it. And I recently just got on Snapchat, and I'm discovering that, and it's a whole new world. I mean, what's happening, and it's always about understanding what's next.
Yeah.
So even for the girls we represent, it's like, what's the next medium that's going to help them in the brand world, and not only just post selfies, but what's going to attract brands to them and want to, have brands, engage with them.
American Apparel, I don't know if you heard about this, had a casting ad that went viral recently because they said that they wanted real models. They didn't want Instagram models. Of course, they used a different word than models, and a lot of people are like, ooh, why the sudden backlash? So do you think there's now a resistance to the Insta model?
I mean, again, we're representing girls like in all legitimate spaces, so we're not really looking for girls that will only post a photo. So I think the girls that are really beautiful and have a personality, and if you look at girls like I said, we represent Poppy De Levine, her sister Cara, was one of the first models to really shine with her personality through social media, and that's one of the reasons why I think that helped her be successful. So the girls that have a personality, that know what to do, that know how to market themselves, it's an invaluable tool. And the difference of the business now is that if girls know how to market themselves and the agency knows how to run with it, it's an amazing combination. So it used to be that girls, they wouldn't pick up the phone and call photographers. Now they can hustle, they can go to events, they can promote things, they can market themselves, and then all the agency has to do, if they have some ingenuity, is just to know how to run with that. So it's a much different playing space. So.
What kind of following would get your attention? Would you look at someone and go, okay, I need that girl on my roster?
Yeah, so we launched the division in November, and I have to tell you, from all the divisions that we've started, it's probably the one that's got the most interest from anything. We have quite a few divisions now at One. I feel like when we started the division, we also had these guys from a magazine called Galore that we did it with together. And when we started, we were all looking at girls together, and I feel like it was girls at around the 100,000 mark. We're starting to monetize it. There's quite a few girls now in that space that have 100,000 plus. I mean, there's probably thousands upon thousands. So I find that the girls now that have 300, 400, 500, a million plus are the girls that are able to monetize it a lot. And when you think about it, it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to, when you're attracting 1 million people to look at what you're doing, something is speaking to someone. And you, again, it's hard to ignore that.
So are the Instagram models here to stay?
I think if you look at it as legitimate, great models are here to stay, and the Instagram is just a way to market yourself. The girls that are great models will shine through all this. I mean, if a girl, all she does is post and she doesn't have a personality and real brands aren't picking up on her, I mean, we're not looking for that. We're really selective. And being the first agency, we really handpicked everyone that we signed. So we started out, I think we have something like 30, 35 girls on the website, but we have singers like Pia Mia and Madison Beer. We have a surfer, Anastasia Ashley. Our breakout star this past few months is Charlotte McKinney, who you guys featured.
Yes, we love Charlotte.
Who is actually a pretty amazing story. So Charlotte, myself, and Craig met in Miami at a dinner, and next thing you know, I mean, she was promoting herself. We started getting in front of the right people. I believe that she was discovered by Paul Marciano from Guess through social media. We ran with that. We just got her the Carl's Jr. commercial, which turned into the Super Bowl commercial that they aired.
Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars. She's being featured in an amazing magazine coming out very soon that you'll see. And she's doing huge things now. And so that was probably one of the first success stories.
And all thanks to Instagram. Now I'm hearing all the models on the other side going, oh my God, okay, log into Instagram right now.
Well, agencies, I think in the beginning, I think a lot of the agencies thought this was like trivial. And even some of the agencies in Europe really weren't as tuned into, especially in Paris, I feel like it wasn't as big a thing as it was here.
Yeah.
And it's become like, it's gone from being a trivial thing to something that's a very, very viable business tool. So, you know, I do hear now that there are other agencies starting this kind of thing, and I think
you did it first.
Yeah, I mean, I just like just the fact that we had a head start, and we've gotten some great, feedback on it. And so I think just from the sheer fact that the feedback has been enormous, and major brands are now contacting us and wanting to work with the girls. I mean, that for me speaks volumes. So.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and explaining the rise of the Insta model. And for more on the rise of the Insta model and Scott Lips One Management, go to onemanagement.com. I'm Diana Felsom for Fox 411.